Hello, in this brief session I'm going to look at the EndNote Online reference management tool. This is the companion piece to EndNote Desktop, and the idea will be when you're away from your device you can work on EndNote Online and then synchronize the two of them up when you get back to base. So just in the guide here to EndNote Online, and this is located if you go to Guides and Tutorials on the library homepage, Research Support, and you'll find then the reference management software guides. There's a link there into EndNote Online. If you go in there, there's a link there and you click on that and you can register for an account with EndNote Online. Which looks a bit like this. You just register just here. Put your username and password in and you can register for an account. When you do that, you will end up with something that looks a bit like this. This is my EndNote Online account. Similar to the desktop if you've used that, but on the left hand side you're looking at various groups of references I have. Like with all reference management tools, you typically, when you import the references into it, they're going to go into unfiled and then you would sort them into groups, which I will show you how to use. I should mention as well with this, if you can also register for this from the Web of Science database, just go into products and you'll see a link there for EndNote, so you can register that way as well. So this is the references bits. This is my groups of references, and there's a search box there for searching within those. I can search within those references if I want to. I've got a collect button, online search, a little bit obsolete. So that just searches library catalogs primarily, so I wouldn't really bother using that. Generally what you're going to be doing is searching from a database, whether it's the library search function or an actual database, and export the references into it. You can also create new references manually. So I click on that and this will give me templates. So, options of different types of resources. So it's automatically they're generic, but I could also pick things like a book section, a case, film, broadcast, interview, whatever it is you're interested in, and you just fill in the appropriate fields. There's also a field in there for your research notes, and there's also the opportunity to attach documents. So you could attach a PDF of a paper, a Word document, an image, whatever else you want to save. Okay, but see, generally you won't use this, you'll be exporting directly from a database. There's also an import references option, and this would be if you had your references somewhere else. So for example, if you were using a different reference management tool like Citations or Mendeley, you could choose those files and import them and bring them in. Okay. Just move across here, we've got an organize option. You can manage your groups. So when you set up groups of references, you can manage them. Okay. So you could, for example, you could share them with other people if you wanted. So if you're working on a group project, you can share that group with other EndNote users. You can rename it, you can get rid of it. They also have a link there for your PDFs. You can go in and see what PDFs you have in there. Again, get rid of some if you want to do that. And you can see the space there is unlimited, and that's because I also have the desktop account. So once you have the two of them going, they give you unlimited storage. There's also an option there to find duplications. Again, for any of you who've used desktop, this is more basic, but it's still very usable. And there's a free version of this available as well, so when you leave Maynooth at some point, you'll be able to still retain your records. The next option here is a thing called format. So in this one, I can format a bibliography. So what I can do there is I can actually go in and pick a group of references and format it into whatever referencing style I want. Okay. There's also a Cite While You Write plugin that I can download from there, and that's going to allow your Word document to interact with your EndNote Online. You can format papers and you can export references. So, for example, if you wanted to send your references to another reference management tool, or you just wanted to store them somewhere else, you can do that. Okay. Now, just moving across here, there's a match option. That's more if you wanted to find a journal to publish your papers in. You click that and put in the abstract and it'll suggest options. The options bit then is housekeeping stuff, password, email, and so on. And then downloads, it's just the last little one there. And what that will actually do is allow you to download the Cite While You Write tool for Windows or for Mac, or another tool called EndNote Click. The Cite While You Write tool is the one that sits in your Word document, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And EndNote Click is a little capture tool that sits in your browser. As you see a reference you like, you click on it, it'll capture it for you. Okay, so that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what the EndNote account itself looks like. Now the next thing I suppose you want to know is how do you put references in there? So what I'm going to do is I'll just show you in a few different locations. So for example, if I just go here, I'm just going to go to Maynooth Library. Okay. and I'm going to go into library search. I'm just going to go into the advanced search. So I could search for, say, education and autism as an example. I'll run that search. There's my search results. As you may know, if you want to export into a reference management tool, you have a couple of ways of doing it. I can either just little dots there and send it off to EndNote Online that way, or I can close that for a second. I can just click these little pins and create a temporary folder up the top here and send them off as a group. So I could select all of those and I can just export them then to EndNote Online. And they should now go into my EndNote Online account. So you can see that 3 records have been imported. Let's go back into my references and they should start to appear now in the on-filed section. Now, and there's my unfiled. It's a fairly extensive group, but if you wanted to add anything to a group, then you just select the ones you want. Like so, add to group, and your groups pop up. Obviously now you won't have any groups, so just down the bottom there and just create a new group, name it whatever you want. As simple as that, very easy to just put records into it and then just transfer them into your various groups. If you're in a database, you'll see a similar kind of structure. You're going to be looking for something like an export button, a save button, a cite button, and you're going to be export them into EndNote. So for example, say Web of Science, if you're using that, which is a kind of fairly big multidisciplinary database, you just search by your topic. Again, I'll just do the same one again. Put another row in. Say autism. I run my search. And then again, I select the records I want, export, and it's offering me online or desktop. I'm going to pick online, and they will head off into my EndNote Online account. And again, once they're in there, I can go in and start moving them around, put them into various groups and so on. Okay, so that's basically how it runs. You'd register for your EndNote account, export references into it, put them into groups, again just by selecting the ones you want to move, add to group, as handy as that. Unlimited amount of storage, so you're not going to have a problem that way. So the next bit, I suppose sometimes the most interesting bit, is the Cite While You Write tool. So I say you would have downloaded that from Downloads, Cite While You Write, and what will happen there is when you open your Word document, you'll have a little tab like that, EndNote. And this is going to allow you to interact with your EndNote Online. Okay, and once that's in there, you see there's a link there, so you can just click on that and it'll bring you into your EndNote Online account. If you're using desktop as well, you can just click Preferences, Application, and you can point towards EndNote Desktop if that's what you're going to do. But for the moment, I'm going to pull references in from my EndNote Online, so I'll leave it pointing at that. And the idea is you're typing your paper up. You want to insert a citation. You click Insert Citations. Then you would search for keyword, find, I should find them. Now while it's doing that, it's generally quicker than that, I should say. Oh, there we go. So there's our results. The one you want to cite, then select it, insert, in whatever way you want to insert it. Okay, and it's going to create the in-text citation and the bibliography, and I'll just change it to a different style. So there you go. There's your in-text citation and your bibliography at the end. Okay. If you want to edit anything, you can't type just straight into it. So what you do is just edit citation. And at that point, you can edit the citation itself or the full reference if you wanted to make changes to that. And that will then give you a global change back into your EndNote account. You can change your styles over here. There's a few generic ones put up. They have an extensive repository of other styles as well. So you just select another style if that's what you want to do. You can convert it to plain text if you wanted to, and that'll take all the EndNote code out. And that's handy sometimes when you're finished, if you just want to make those final tweaks to it. That's a handy way of doing that. And it'll save a EndNote version for you as well. As I mentioned at the beginning, you got your preferences. So again, you can go in there and you can flip over to your EndNote desktop if you wanted to. EndNote Help, very good service. And again, you can just get in touch with them if you have any issues, or get in touch with us in the library and we'll be happy to help you if I can. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'll finish there. Thank you.